Bodhi mind and Delusive thought, the resentful faith.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our program. Today, we're going to discuss a very profound topic that's closely related to our lives. We're often troubled by various thoughts and ideas. What impact do these seemingly ordinary thoughts actually have on our lives? And how should we view and deal with them? Today, we'll delve into a master-disciple dialogue to deeply explore the ultimate meaning of Bodhi mind, the mind of enlightenment, and how to recognize and overcome the delusive thoughts within us. Let's start with an interesting question that in the dialogue, it's mentioned. One who constantly holds the elixir, their body will ultimately remain unchanged and undecayed. The master also agrees that such an elixir exists in this world. Many might associate this with the immortality elixirs sought by ancient people. So, what exactly is this elixir? Can it really make the body imperishable? The master mentions that Buddhist scriptures and Taoist records indeed speak of people living for hundreds of years, hinting at the existence of some kind of elixir that can extend life in the mundane world. This brings to mind the worldly pursuit of health and longevity. However, the deeper meaning of the elixir in Buddhism refers to the Bodhi mind. The dialogue states, if one constantly remembers and holds the elixir of Bodhi mind, it will make the body of vows and wisdom ultimately undecayed. Here, the body is no longer our physical karmic body, but the body of vows and wisdom, also known as the karmic retribution body. We all have a karmic retribution body, whether it's the body formed by the evil vows and evil wisdom of ordinary beings, or the Buddha's retribution body, all belong to the karmic retribution body. The difference is that the karmic retribution bodies of ordinary beings will perish, while bodhisattvas, due to their return to suckness, have bodies of vows and wisdom that can ultimately remain undecayed. The disciple then asks an excellent question. If our vows only benefit ourselves, then our wisdom cannot be expansive. The master agrees with this point. The bodhisattva's bodies of vows and wisdom are formed because they make vast vows for the sake of all sentient beings, allowing their wisdom to manifest among all beings. So, here, unchanged and undecayed doesn't refer to physical immortality, but rather to the body of vows and wisdom achieved through a firm Bodhi mind, which can transcend birth and death and be free from affliction. This also highlights the fundamental difference between Buddhist pursuit and the worldly pursuit of longevity. Buddhism seeks ultimate liberation and an indestructible life of wisdom. Since Bodhi mind is so important, how does it become firm? The dialogue uses a very vivid analogy, like a wooden puppet. If there is no wedge, the body will disperse and cannot move. The Bodhisattva Mahasattva is also like this. Without Bodhi mind, actions will disperse and one cannot accomplish any Buddhist dharma. This illustrates that Bodhi mind is like the wedge of the wooden puppet, the core that supports our practice and the accomplishments of all Buddhist dharma. The master explains that when the mind is scattered, actions will follow suit. With a firm Bodhi mind, practitioners can single-mindedly learn and act, leading to accomplishment. Conversely, without Bodhi mind, like a wooden puppet without a wedge, all actions will scatter, and one cannot accomplish Buddhist dharma. In the dialogue, the master repeatedly emphasizes the immense harm of delusive thoughts. Delusive thoughts can scatter one's mind, making it impossible to focus on current studies and work, leading to failure in academics, career, and family life. Self-harm, self-destructs. The master uses very strong language to warn that the ultimate goal of delusive thoughts is to lead people to extreme suffering, even self-destructs. They will ruin everything, ultimately making it impossible for one to even beg for food, and eventually leading to suffering in hell. Suffering in hell and delusive thoughts. The master describes the extreme suffering in hell, ceaseless and with myriad deaths and rebirths. There, people are too tormented to have delusive thoughts, able only to experience the suffering. This also contrasts with the deceptive nature of delusive thoughts in the world, which lures people into deeper suffering. So, how do we deal with delusive thoughts? The master advises that when delusive thoughts arise, let them go somewhere cool, meaning don't pay attention to them, don't try to distinguish them, and don't listen to them. We must firmly believe only in what truly benefits us, which is the right view guided by Buddhist Dharma. As for the nagging of delusive thoughts, just treat them as background noise and ignore them. The master even suggests extreme measures like slapping oneself a few times to experience pain and combat delusive thoughts. Of course, the most crucial thing is to recognize the true nature of delusive thoughts as thieves and resentful enemies. They are only harmful to us and offer no benefits. Once we understand their dangers, we will naturally develop a disgust for them and no longer trust or follow them. Delusive thoughts are cunning. They will transform and try to sneak in through any tiny cracks you leave open, then expand endlessly. So, don't leave them even a tiny bit of space and completely cut off all sources of delusive thoughts. The master's warning is quite shocking. It makes us realize that our usual random thoughts, which we take for granted, are actually insidious and cunning resentful enemies gradually leading us into an abyss. Dealing with delusive thoughts requires immense awareness and firm resolve. Next, the dialogue mentions another profound effect of Bodhi mind. If this intention is aroused, it will cause all the roots of goodness of the Bodhisattva to eternally transcend the three realms and practice the wisdom of the Tathagata in the unconditioned space. What does this mean? Can one immediately transcend the three realms just by arousing Bodhi's mind? The master explains that transcending the three realms doesn't mean that Bodhi mind itself is outside the three realms, but rather it refers to transcending the three realms from the perspective of our understanding. We ordinary beings perceive everything before our eyes, mountains, rivers, earth, men, women, young, old, as real existence, and thus we are bound within the three realms. If we can abandon this erroneous delusive attachment and establish the view that these are all illusory manifestations arising from self-nature according to conditions, then for an accomplished practitioner, they will not be confined by these phenomena. This is what is called transcending the three realms. The master uses movies and light and shadow as examples to emphasize that all phenomena are light and shadow, manifested by mind alone, influenced by karma alone, and transformed by consciousness alone. If we perceive something as real, it appears real. If we perceive it as illusory, it appears illusory. If we perceive it as merely a reflection, it is merely a reflection. And if we perceive it as non-existent, then it genuinely ceases to exist. Just like when Subhuti was born, his home became completely empty. When a practitioner enters samadhi and breaks through the form aggregate realm, they can truly perceive these as illusory reflections, thereby gaining mastery over form, freeing from obstacles, even achieving integration and penetration with complete ease. The reason we perceive the world as solidly real is because we've been conditioned since childhood, combined with past karmic habits and afflictions, and a lifetime of intense conditioning, leading this concept to become deeply ingrained, forming a solid delusive thought. To solidify the right view that everything is like a reflection requires long-term cultivation. It's like learning to read as a child. With daily practice, one eventually becomes proficient. When we genuinely believe that all phenomena are illusory, our attachments to the world will diminish, our minds will settle, and we'll be able to break through rapidly. This explanation is incredibly profound. It reveals the true meaning of transcending the three realms, which is not a physical crossing of space, but the liberation of the mind. When we recognize that everything in the world is like a dream, illusion, bubble, or shadow, our attachments will dissolve, and our minds will find freedom. After hearing all this, we might wonder how we can apply these principles in our daily lives to truly overcome delusive thoughts. The master suggests that in daily life, we should constantly contemplate that everything is an illusion and continuously cultivate this right mindfulness. Samadhi is an effective way to break through karmic obstacles and achieve mastery over form. As for delusive thoughts, just treat them like a cockroach. If you don't like it, ignore it. And certainly don't try to taste it. The master emphasizes that delusive thoughts are resentful enemies. They will relentlessly destroy everything we have until they drag us into hell. We must train ourselves to develop an immense fear and disgust towards delusive thoughts, absolutely refusing to believe them, because delusive thoughts will exploit any tiny cracks to harm us. We must not leave them even a trace and completely cut off all sources of delusive thoughts. Transforming the mistaken notion of this is what I'm thinking into this is the thief thinking will help us combat it more effectively. Overcoming delusive thoughts is a long and arduous process. However, as long as we have the right understanding, firm faith, and consistently cultivate right mindfulness, we will gradually break free from the shackles of delusive thoughts and move towards a life of liberation and ease. Today's podcast covered a lot of ground, the dialogue between the master and disciple, using simple language, revealed profound truths from Buddhism regarding Bodhi mind, delusive thoughts, and reality. We learned that the true elixir is Bodhi mind, which enables us to transcend birth and death and achieve an ultimate life of wisdom. And the delusive thoughts within us are our greatest enemies. They will destroy everything we have and ultimately lead us to suffering. The key is to maintain constant awareness, recognizing the nature of delusive thoughts, resolutely disbelieving and ignoring them, and continuously cultivate right view, rooting the reality of everything as light and shadow deep within our minds. This is a process that requires long-term effort, but by persevering, we will eventually overcome difficulties and attain inner freedom. We hope today's content has been insightful for you. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.